Good morning everyone, especially to our instructor, Dr. Roger Anthony Gamali. I am Fidelis Terlungay Panchito, B Scream 2. In this video, I'm going to make a 30 minutes report. My topic is about the 6 pillars of good character and the character traits. So let me start. The 6 pillars of good character. First is trustworthiness. This is the pillar of good character that is considered the most complicated of the 6 core ethical values and concerns a variety of qualities like honesty, integrity, reliability, and loyalty. When a person is trusted, he is given a greater leeway and no need to be monitored just to assure that they meet their obligations. Second is respect. The golden rule in human relation, do unto other as you would have them do unto you, perfectly illustrates respect. When respect is observed, we would prevent and preempt violence, humiliations, manipulation, and exploitation. It reflects notions such as civility, courtesy, decency, dignity, autonomy, tolerance, and acceptance. Everyone has a right to be treated with dignity. We certainly have no ethical duty to hold all people in high esteem, but we should treat everyone with respect, regardless of who they are and what they have done. We have a responsibility to be the best we can be in all situations, even when dealing with unpleasant people. There is a qualities of a respectful person. First is ability to listen. When somebody is talking, he is attentively listening. Second, treats others with consideration. Respectful person doesn't resort to intimidation, coercion, or violence except in extraordinary and limited situations to defend others, teach discipline, maintain order, or achieve social justice. Third, capable of accepting individual differences and beliefs. Respectful individuals without prejudice openly accepts principles and ideologies of others. Third part of the pillars is responsibility. It is understood that life is full of choices and everyone has its own judgment and decisions to take in life. However, we are expected to be responsible for our actions and behaviors as rational being. Being responsible means to take charge and be accountable of the consequences of what we think and do. Our capacity to reason and our freedom to choose make us morally autonomous and therefore answerable for whether we honor or degrade the ethical principles that give life meaning and purpose. Thus, an individual must be responsible and accountable, pursue excellence, and exercise self-restraint. They exhibit the ability to respond to expectations. Qualities of excuse me. Qualities of a reasonable person, responsible person. There are three qualities of responsible person. First, sense of accountability. An accountable person leads by example and doesn't shift, blame, or claim credit for the work of others. He considers the likely consequences of his behavior and associations. He recognizes the common complicity in the triumph of evil when nothing is done to stop it. Second, pursuit of excellence. Responsible person shows diligence what he is doing, careful in his actions, prepared and informed. They finish what they started, overcoming rather than surrendering to obstacles. They avoid excuses such as that's just the way I am, or it's not my job, or it was legal, and always look for ways to do work better. Third, self-restraint. Responsible people exercise self-control, restraining passions and appetites such as lust, hatred, gluttony, greed, and fear. For the sake of longer-term vision and better judgment, they delay gratification if necessary and never feel it's necessary to win at any cost. They realize they are as they choose to be every day. Fourth part of the pillars is fairness. This pillar of good character involves issues and due process. It is unfair to handle similar matters inconsistently and to impose punishment that is not commensurate with the offense. The basic concept seems simple, even intuitive, yet applying it in daily life can be surprisingly difficult. Fairness is another tricky concept, probably more subject to legitimate debate and interpretation than any other ethical value. Disagreeing parties tend to maintain that there is only one fair position, their own naturally. Fifth part of pillar is caring. Caring is the heart of ethics and ethical decision making. It is scarcely possible to be truly ethical and yet unconcerned with the welfare of others. That is because ethics is ultimately about good relations with other people. It is easier to love humanity than to love people. People who consider themselves ethical yet lack a caring attitude toward individuals tend to treat others as instruments of their will. Excuse me. They rarely feel an obligation to be honest, loyal, fair, or respectful except insofar as it is prudent for them to do so, a disposition which itself hints at duplicity and a lack of integrity. A person who really cares feels an emotional response to both the pain and pleasure of others. The highest form of caring is the honest expression of benevolence or altruism. This is not to be confused with strategic charity. Gifts to charities to advance personal interest are approved. That is, they aren't gifts at all. They're investments or tax write-offs. Six part of pillars or the last part of pillars is citizenship. This pillar of good character includes civic virtues and duties that prescribe how we ought to behave as part of a community. The good citizen knows the laws and obeys them. He volunteers and stays informed on the issues of the day. The better execute his duties and privileges as a member of a self-governing democratic society. Character traits. So, first is alertness. Being aware of what is taking place around. So, alertness is the state of being ready to say, understand, and act in particular situation. One study found that strongest factor influencing driver alertness was the time of day. Second, attentiveness, showing the worth of a person or task by giving individual in undivided concentration. O, example, a child who always carefully listen to his mother directions is an example of someone who is attentive. Paying close attention, alert, or observant. Paying attention, noticing, watching, listening, or attending closely. She is an attentive listener but does not like to talk much. Third, availability, making own schedule and priorities secondary to the wishes of those being served. Example of availability is whether someone or something can be accessed or used. An example of availability is when a classmates can meet to discuss a project on a certain date. Fourth, benevolence. Giving to others basic needs without the motivation for acquiring personal rewards. Example is benevolence is a kind, not or gift or the doing of kind things for others. An example of benevolence is a gift of money affording someone the opportunity to go to college. And another example of someone had feelings of benevolence was Mother Teresa, a kind of charitable. Fifth, boldness. Boldness is confidence that what is said or do is true, right, and just. A person who is not afraid to speak up for what he believes even to people with more power than him is an example of someone who is bold. A child who is too confident and arrogant as a result of being spoiled is an example of a child who is overly bold. A strong, deep, rich read Cold is an example of a bold color. 6. Cautiousness. Knowing how important right timing is in accomplishing right actions. Her tone was cautious but respectful. He watched closely, appearing amused and cautious like a husband watching his wife learn to box. 7. Compassion. Investing whatever is necessary to heal the hearts of others. Compassion is someone who shows kindness and empathy to others, or is something or some act that expresses kindness or empathy. 8 is contentment. Realizing that true happiness does not depend on material conditions. Contentment, simple things, focusing on the simple things in life, such as time with your family or enjoying nature. Number 9, creativity. Approaching a need, a task, or an idea from a new perspective. Creativity is creative thinkers are able to look at things in new, unorthodox ways and come up with solutions no one previously thought of. Another sample, creativity is what drives innovation and progress. Number 10, decisiveness. The ability to recognize key factors and finalize default decisions. Decisiveness formulates his or her own opinion concisely and takes up positions and makes decisions, makes plans based on previous decisions. 11. Difference. Limiting freedom is not to offend the taste of others. Difference is taking unwanted parenting advice from your mother-in-law. She showed the difference to his mother. 12. Dependability. Fulfilling what is consented to do even if it means unexpected sacrifice. Dependability is being on time seems like it should go without saying. Another example is respects and meets deadlines. Dependable employees respect deadlines and make every effort to meet them. 13 is determination. Purposing to accomplish right goals at the right time regardless of the opposition. Determination is the strength to keep applying for jobs after being turned down by dozens of potential employers. Diligence. Investing time and energy to complete each task assigned. Diligence is a worker who always stays late let to get projects done on deadline. Another example, an example of diligence is the artist who paints each strand of hair on a portrait. Discernment, understanding the deeper reasons why things happen. Discernment is noticing the distinctive details in a painting and understanding what makes art good and bad is an example of discernment. Discretion, recognizing and avoiding words, actions, and attitudes that could bring undesirable consequence. Discretion is the ability of a juror to determine a verdict. Another example of discretion is not talking about politics at family dinners. Bintin is endurance, the inward strength to withstand accomplishing each task. Endurance is exercise is one of the 4 types of exercise along with strength, balance, and flexibility. Enthusiasm, expressing joy in doing and accomplishing each task. Enthusiasm, an example of enthusiasm is a child's great happiness at starting his first ceramics class. 19. Faith, confidence that actions rooted in good character will yield the best outcome even when it's not personally observed. Faith, if you have complete confidence and trust in your spouse, this is an example of when you have faith in your spouse. If you believe in God, this is an example of having religion's faith and of having faith in God. Flexibility, willingness to change plans or ideas according to the direction of the authorities. Flexibility is a person with a flexible personality, will have a lot of common sense, can do spirit, docile, endurance, and show presence of mind when it comes to solving problems, both large and small. A flexible personality ensures that the person takes great care of his or her appearance and always present self with dignity. Forgiveness, clearing the record of those who have wronged and not holding a grudge. Forgiveness is the forgiving person is moved by the repentance of those who offend her. She is eager to know what mitigates their offense. She cares about her relationship, wanting them to be harmonious and loving. Generosity. Generosity, carefully managing resources to be capable of freely giving to those in need. Generosity is people are the ones who give more than is expected of them. It's generous of your friend to take the couch and let you sleep in the bed when you stay over at her place. Gentleness, showing consideration and personal concern for others. In order to be gentle, we must not view ourselves as better than someone else. Rather than asserting superiority, someone who is gentle wants to help others, even when they have been done wrong. Gratefulness, letting others know by one's words and actions how they have benefited one's life. Gratefulness touch someone next time you're saying thank you to someone. Reach out and lay your hand on their arm. Honor, respecting those in leadership because of their higher authorities they represent. Honor is the Medal of Honor. The Medal of Honor was created as the highest military decorations for individuals that exhibited the highest qualities of character. Hospitality. Hospitality is cheerfully sharing food, shelter, or conversation to benefit others. 27. Humility. Humility is acknowledging that achievement results from the investment of others in one's life. Initiative, recognizing and doing what needs to be done before being asked to do it. Joyfulness is maintaining a good attitude even when faced with unpleasant conditions. Justice, taking personal responsibility to uphold what is pure, right, and true. Loyalty is using difficult times to demonstrate commitment to those being served. Meekness is yielding personal rights and expectations with a desire to serve. Obedience is quickly and cheerfully carrying out the directions of the superior. Orderliness is arranging self and surroundings to achieve greater of the superior. Orderliness, arranging self and surroundings to achieve greater efficiency. Patience is accepting a difficult situations without giving a deadline to remove it. Persuasiveness is guiding vital truths around another's mental roadblocks. Punctuality Punctuality is showing esteem for others by doing the right thing at the right time. Resourcefulness. It is finding practical uses for that which others would overlook or discard. Responsibility. Knowing and doing what is expected. Security. Structuring one's life around that which cannot be destroyed or taken away. Self-control. Self-control is rejecting wrong desires and doing what is right. Sensitivity. Perceiving the true attitudes and emotions of others. Sincerity is eagerness to do what is right with transparent motives. And that would be all. Thank you.